encourage my young people to get involved. And I think that some of the young people don't want to be aligned with either party. And I think that we're going to see some of our people, if we're not careful, become independents. They aren't going to go to this Republican or Democratic Party, and we can't afford that. We really can't afford that. I think that we need to be able to, we can have third party. You know, I don't believe in the Socialist Party or any other party, but I believe that if we do believe in the Democratic Party, then we have to prove that point and show that this party is going to stay for us, stand for us, for all of us, so that we can be true Democrats, not just when it's convenient. You know, I've seen that happen, and I don't like that either. I think that there's a lot of things that we have to work on to make this party stand up.
Why do you think that the Republican Party has resisted efforts to bring about immigration reform?
Probably it's going to hurt a lot of people's pocketbooks. I think that there's a financial aspect to that. I really do. Because a lot of people that have money are people that are in business, and that's the people that they, but look what Latinos have done here in Des Moines. They've pumped a lot of money into the city of Des Moines. You have Hispanic businesses all over. Where did you go before to get Mexican dinner? It was at someone's house, because we had very few restaurants. We had Raul's over on East Side. We had Tasty Tacos that, you know, are very, very good. And they were some of the first people to put up the restaurants here in Des Moines.
Right.
You know, but now you can go you don't have to go very far, either east, west, or south, and you've got a Mexican restaurant someplace. You know, Latino food, Hispanic food. So I think that they need to know, and I think that's what probably the Republicans think about is how much money is this going to bring in. It's a dollar sign. It's not the humane issues.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just exactly how I feel. I can be wrong, but, you know, I appreciate the hard work that, like Mary Louise Smith did for us. She did a lot of good work with us. Now, people that did hard work. Those were my mentors. Because remember, I was a young Mexican American woman. I didn't have Latino mentors. My mentors were in the Black community, in the Jewish community. You know, and in the Caucasian community, I had people that wanted me to be part of what they were doing, you know, and so they taught me, they schooled me, and I appreciate that opportunity, and I wish that other young men and women could have that opportunity. So, yeah. And that's why I eventually ran for city council. Remember, I ran for city council not once but twice, and I came up third out of 12 people and 8 people every time, you know. We just didn't have the money. We didn't have the way to work.
Right.
And no, and that's why I say to the party, to the Democratic Party, when someone comes to you and they want to run, don't pick me over and throw me aside. Give me just as much of a chance as somebody else. And it's hard to get people to want to run for office if they feel that they're being negated, you know. It's not right. So we have to learn how to do that better. We have to learn how to do that better for our candidates.
One of the things that probably cost us the election in 2004, for instance, was that we had lost some of the Hispanic voters to George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
What was it that he was doing different that caused, or at least allowed him to peel off some of those voters? Do you remember if there was any policy position for that, or was it just the fact that he was from Texas? And
yeah, and I think that some of the young people were just beginning to get educated, and they were kind of balancing both sides, you know, and see which one would seem to be more progressive for their benefit, not for a population on a whole, as a whole population. I think that's what happened there. I really do. Okay. And I still think that a lot of them have a dream, and they want to be that impressive business person, you know, and be able to sit at that table.
So when they actually do own the business and their philosophy changes to more of a Republican philosophy.
Yeah. I think that, so, I don't know.
We were able to get most of those voters back in 2008, 2010, so or 2012. So that's why I was asking about whether there was something special that he had done that allowed the voters to be peeled away. Do you think that? Do you see any other national leaders coming on the stage who are of Hispanic descent who are impressive to you?
I think you have the young men from Texas, you know, the mayor, and then of course we have the mayor in Los Angeles, and then we have the
The mayor from
Ken
San Antonio?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have Ken Salazar and his brother, the Salazar brothers from Colorado. We have the young women that were in California and became congresswomen,
Mhm.
you know. So we need to have more Hispanic people, and they're young people that need to come up through the ranks, but they have to start from the bottom up and know how politics work. And I think they can't expect everything on the silver platters. I've never had it yet. So I think anything that you're gonna get, you're gonna work for, and you have to believe in what you're working for, you know. It can't be a thing where you think, well, I've earned it. No, nobody's earned it. You all have to earn it together, and you have to learn how to share it. Once you earn it, you have to share it. So, yeah.
One of the things that's been discussed recently too is that a lot of Hispanics are going away from the Catholic Church to more evangelical churches. From a political standpoint, what do you see the future, what's going to happen for the future of them remaining as Democrats if they go to evangelical churches? Do you think that will have an impact on their voting philosophy, or do you think they'll stay with the Democratic Party?
I think that, well, we've always said the church and the state are two different,
Yes,
and
sure.
I think people forget that too easily. You know, but I think that the Catholic Church is finally going through a period where they're resurrecting and they're getting involved with the congregations, because a lot of the churches had programs and opportunities that our Catholic Church didn't have. So I think they're behind the time, but they're working hard to try and bring it forward so that they can offer these things. It's competition.
Yes.
It's a competitive thing. I'm sorry to say that, but, you know, that's what it is. And it's a competitive thing. And a lot of these people see, especially foreigners that come to this country, refugees, they see other churches, you know, that are welcoming them. You know, if you've got a family, you want to put bread and butter on the table, and you don't want them to go to bed hungry. And this church comes and offers you this and offers you that. There's a tendency for that to happen.
So that explains kind of the movement away from the Catholic Church by some Hispanics, because they're finding a service or an environment that more to their liking.
Yeah.
But do you think they'll change their political philosophies, or do you think they'll still remain in high percentages with the Democratic Party?
I think that those that are still with the Democratic Party will stay. I mean, they'll work to see. There are some things that we know very well that I don't need to state about the church, you know.
Yeah.
So those are things that you know, but they're not discussed.
Yes, no, I understand.
You understand that, so, but I think that we will see young people stand up and they'll be thinking for themselves, and they need to look into things so that they can be educated about them.
They'll still be concerned about social justice issues?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We had the wonderful opportunity to ride with the nuns on the bus, and that was an
Oh.
exciting thing. I thought that was very exciting that we did that, you know, to see the nuns fight for social justice. And they've always, in the days of old, that's part of the missionary work that they did.
Yes.
They set up the schools, they did the home care, they took care of the dying, you know. So I applaud them. I think they did a wonderful job to bring people awareness so that they would know what was out there. And I think a lot of that helped to garnish the vote for certain people that were running, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, sometimes they're a big inspiration
yes, they are.
to anybody who meets them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got to go down to Dubuque and see their museum. They had a beautiful museum for the nuns.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we have wonderful nuns that we go visit. Almost every July the 4th, we go down and spend a couple of days with them, you know. And they get involved. I mean, you know, they have their own, they have ideas and opinions, you know.
Oh, yeah. But wasn't it amazing that they really didn't have a lot of money? They didn't have a lot of, you know, some reason why the media would be
Yeah.
attracted to them, but they made news.
Yes, yes,
And I know that's what you appreciate, was
Yeah.
people take a stand and make
Yeah.
news
yeah. Yeah.
for their positions.
Yeah. So,
Was there anything else that you wanted to share with us about?
well, I just want to say that, you know, I feel bad when they come out and say there's 11 million undocumented people here,
Uh-huh.
and they're all Hispanic. I don't buy that at all. And I want to commend the Mexican government, because they are looking, Tom, at their government and their people in a different way. And I watch a lot of Hispanic cable TV, and that's one reason that I have it. It's because I like to get the view from excuse the expression, the horse's mouth, you know. And I think sometimes the United States doesn't give us all that we need to know. And I think sometimes we give too many things away, especially regarding our military and things like that. You know, we don't know when to stop. I don't think we don't know when to stop as far as military affairs and things that people that don't need to know. I mean, we have people that should know, and they're the last people to know. So I have a problem with the governments, but complimenting the United States relationship with Mexico. They're right across the street from us. Why haven't we been able to build a good relationship? We're going to China, we go here, we go every place else, and here are these people on the other side of the street. You know, that kind of hits me the wrong way. And I think when in 2005, when the Mexican government gave me a beautiful award for the work that I've done with the Mexican immigrants here in the state of Iowa, to me that meant a great deal.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was signed by the Secretary of Interior. You know, I have that plaque. Because this thing here, I thought, this is amazing, you know. But and I work with the Mexican consulate quite a bit. You know, we try to find out when they're coming. We're always looking for a place for them to be able to meet. And DMAC has been very kind about receiving them, and had the opportunity to meet with the governor and with the senators. And I took them up so that they could see how it works. You know, these are our legislators, and that's the other thing people need to know. You need to talk to the people that you get elected. You need to remind them that, you know, I don't hold a gun to their head and say, well, you promised this. No, I don't think that's the way to do things at all. I think that phone call or a letter, or I tell you, and then you say, you know, this little Mexican lady down there, she's a little bit hot about this. We need to do something. I can be an instigator. I can be a person that can gather people, you know.
Yes.
And so I know there are people that don't appreciate my politics, but that's all right. Everybody's entitled to the way they're going to do things, you know.
Who doesn't appreciate your politics, Mary?
Probably the Republicans. No, I wouldn't say that. You know, it's just one of those things. And my mother was very firm about when my sister would come into the house, because I'd laugh because I told you my sister's a Republican. She said, you don't talk any Republican politics in this house. That was it. My mother would come right out and say that to my sister. So although my sister would then afterwards chastise me and tell me about this and that and the other, oh, it's okay, you know, but, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's but you don't do that to people. You don't say you can't censor. We don't live in a country where we're going to be censored. If we're going to be censored, we have no freedom.
That's right.
And these people have come from war-torn countries, hoping to find a better life in this country that we praise so much and we believe in. So we can't do that. We have to be able to sit at that table once again and break that bread and have that conversation and appreciate their differences.
Right.
Don't criticize their differences, appreciate the differences. And I think that we as a Democratic Party need to learn how to do that better. We need to learn how to do that better.
Oh, both sides.
Both sides. Yeah.
Right, both sides, because we're all Americans.
Yes, that's right.
And I always appreciate the debate. The one nice thing about our country is, by and large, we can have a debate without killing anybody.
And
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
that
that's why I say they come from countries that, and that's why some of them were scared to even, after they became citizens, to even register to vote. And I said the very first thing in that book tells you that you have a right to become a citizen and you have a right to vote once you're a citizen of this country. And now Mexico even has the dual citizenship form, like the judge tells at the swearing-in ceremonies. You don't have to give up. You can have a dual citizenship if that's what you want, but you have your allegiance to this country, you know. So that's very important.
Yes.
People don't realize it, but it's very important.
Yes.
And of course our African Americans that were bounded in slavery, and then they were set free by Abraham Lincoln. And although he was a Republican, he could see things the way they should have been seen. And I think that's what we need to do in our country, Tom, really. But we need to get our young people to get interested and learn, help them to help us, so that we can move forward with the party's politics. You know, we need to make that very evident to them. And so I encourage young people, when they become 18, I'll take you down and you can register to vote. Or if you become a citizen, I'll go with you, introduce you to the auditor and to the staff. And so this is where you can feel safe. You can come here and vote. That's why I say, I still believe, and my mother, she wanted to vote by mail because she didn't want to go out when it was rainy and ugly. I think if we lose that right to have voting ballots, you know,
Right.
I think that's a loss to the whole nation.
Right, we have to be able to do that. That's part of,
Yes.
again, that's part of our participation. There was a time in the second term when George Bush talked about immigration reform, and it was one of the few times I completely agreed with him.
Yes.
A very compelling statement. And that might explain why he was successful
Yes.
in attracting some Hispanic voters.
Yes,
You
yes.
remember that too as well?
Yes, I remember. And I remember that Paul and I went to Storm Lake, and President Fox was there. And President Fox and George Bush had been working on some relationships there. And so there's a debt of gratitude to Fox and to Bush, that they started the thing going. And then, of course, we had the tragedy of 9/11, and everything went out the window. Everything went out the window that they worked on.
Oh, that's too bad. That was in 2001 before 9/11.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the current Mexican government? Do you think they're really trying to do their best to bring the country together?
I hope so. I hope so. I know that some of the People's Party platform didn't get elected, but we're back to and the PRI was there for so long, and then the Democrats took over in Mexico, and I didn't like the shift back in, but maybe this young man will be able to work with both sides. There's got to be a change. There's got to be a change so that the people can live. And now when I hear about their wages and the fact that they have I didn't realize it until I was there. I think it's been about 7 years now since I've been there, but I didn't realize that once a young woman becomes over 30, she's not useful anymore. I was really surprised because I thought, this is age discrimination. You couldn't do that in the United States. As long as you're physically able and you can use your faculties, you can work until you're 100 if you want to.
Right.
But I couldn't believe the age discrimination that happened there to the women. Once you became 30, 32, you weren't considered attractive enough or intelligent enough or something. I don't know what their thinking is, but I just didn't believe in age discrimination like that. And they said, oh yeah, you get to a certain age, they don't want to hire you.
It's such a waste.
Yeah.
I mean, look how many years we lost with you.
Yeah.
And they're valuable years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, and I just, when I realized that, I thought, well, this is age discrimination. You could never do that in the United States. So hopefully they will take a look at that and improve that, because that's why a lot of young ladies, they get married and that's the end of it, But they're also working on education, and that's very important, because they are teaching children English, and that was one of President Fox's projects, him and his wife. They wanted to have a school where the children could come. And then the other thing, when I did go to Mexico, I'd always end up with a group of children and I'd always be teaching them the alphabet and reading and writing, and my cousin would say, don't you get tired?
No.
Yeah. And
Why would you?
And they'd come and say, the señora's coming, that I was coming. And I'd leave little books and pencils and papers, and then we went back, and they'd see me, and they'd come and say, are you going to teach us again? They'd tell me in Spanish. I said, well, I'll teach you as long as you're willing to learn, But now they have programs in which they are fostering the English language so that they can be able to function in case they ever come to the United States. They will have at least some English background. But a lot of my students that I have, adults that are been citizens that are coming, they were very illiterate in their country. They never had the opportunity. One lady told me that she'd go to school every day, but she never had pencil and paper unless somebody gave it to her. And then when I found out, when I was there in my early days in the 70s in Mexico, I found out that they had to pay for their papers and for their books. And here we are in a nation where we didn't have to pay for papers and books, but now it costs to go to school. So, education comes at a price, and I don't think it should have to have a price.
Never.
So I think that the president has taken a deep interest in the young people and in their finances, because we used to have that ability to be able to go to school even though you didn't have the money.
Right.
So I disagree with some of those things, yes.
Right. Well, Mary, thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you for having me, and I hope that nobody tried to sue you because I'm the one that said the things.
No.
But I really enjoyed going to Roxanne's little get-together that she had. I thought that was wonderful. That was a
It was very
wonderful
nice.
thing, yeah. It was very nice.